Well, I guess we're about ready, huh? I'd like to call the North Koochiching Area Sanitary District agenda meeting open for November 21st, 7:30. Roll call, Crystal, audience, Crystal Clance. I don't know who our camera person is today.
Cheyenne Farmer.
Cheryl and Stacy and all members of the board are present. Additions or deletions?
Cindy.
Huh?
Cindy
And
and Stacy.
What did I
You
say?
said
Cheryl.
You said Cheryl.
Oh, maybe I had
You got
Cheryl on my mind, I don't know.
You got Cheryl and Brian.
Yeah, I don't even know who she is.
Sure.
Minutes for the October 17th. We have a motion
So moved to approve.
motion by Don, second by Robert.
Who made the motion?
Done.
Don and second by Robert. Any discussion? Call for a vote?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes. September PK minutes. I'm not sure,
For information only.
for information only.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, disbursements.
Is that, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead, John.
Third item down, Burma Bank, that's credit card, is that credit card, yep, purchases there? The answer, I guess, is yes. huh?
Yeah.
So moved to approve the disbursements as of November 21st.
I'll second that.
Motion by Don, second by Terry. Why is Howard Hoggy's Medicare higher than the rest of them? Is that because of his income or what?
I don't know, age maybe, huh?
No,
No?
it wouldn't be.
Truthfully, that's a question that I have, like, there's a lot of questions right now with Medicare.
Well, I mean, I see most of them pay
Right around 109.
109.40 or something. I see he's wondering what, I mean, I just wondered why his was different than the rest of them.
I don't know the answer to that. There's a, I want to get into retiree, or the Medicare portion of this a little bit during the director's report. So I want to talk about some things with Medicare then.
We don't have any of our employees that are,
We have 2 sets of retirees that are on Medicare.
well, yeah, I guess John and, okay, Susan and Carol and Howard.
Mr. Chair, I have a question on the 2 lab bills. Was that one for certification of our lab or
With
got
Wisconsin State?
Wisconsin State and Pace? Both.
So
Pace, huh?
Pace is our normal,
Yeah, yeah.
and then Wisconsin Lab, that's a.
That's the PTs for the next year that we have to do for the lab, to be compliant for our lab rules. And we order all our PTs through Wisconsin State Lab of Hygiene. That's what that $700-some bill is. So we got all our PTs ordered for the following year, for next
Okay,
year.
well, that's like glassware and stuff like that.
That's samples.
Oh.
We do them quarterly. The BOD, remember I talked about that? BOD, our main tests that we perform over there, we have to do a PT quarterly for it and keep track of that and log that to be compliant for our lab.
Proficiency
Basically blind.
testing, PT.
Yeah, line testing.
Yeah,
It's a non-optional expense, basically.
It's once a year though. Just-
once a year.
This is-
We order them, the PTs, yes.
Okay.
Now, the ERA one there, that's a monthly one, that's a monthly PT that we do. It's a chlorine residual standard that we do only when we're chlorinating at the plant. So when we're not chlorinating, we don't have to do that PT for the ERA. You can see that one there for ERA. And we're done chlorinating now. So we'll be done, won't fire up our chlorination system till spring. Then we'll start that again. We'll have to do a PT once a month.
So that's like 6 months out of the year, 6, 7 months out of the year.
And that'll be through Wisconsin State.
Nope.
You
That's
order the
it, that's
kit- You order the kit from them?
That's
Huh?
the ERA one.
Oh.
ERA is the one for the chlorine.
Mr. Chairman?
Oh, yeah.
While we're on this testing thing, are you gonna bring up in your report the sulfate standard?
Oh, I wasn't going to, but we can talk about it, yep.
I mean, it's just something to be thinking about, because it'll get political.
Good, Mr. Chair. Greg,
Go ahead.
one more question with you. Do you think that mountain environmental charge was about equivalent to the other years we
It's lower.
planned
I
out?
think
lower.
slightly
It's
lower.
lower, really? Okay.
Yeah, we're dewatering now, so that makes a big difference,
Makes a
right?
big difference, yeah.
Okay.
They don't charge any more per gallon then?
We'd have to look and see exactly what they charge per gallon, but we had less gallons this year too. Over 300,000 last year, this year was 270.
I remember that number's been up as high as 60,000 or even higher than 60,000 in a year. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's before we were dewatering.
yeah.
So the farmer didn't send us the bill?
Who?
The farmer?
No,
Okay.
no.
Because he had to pull them
Yeah,
just
I know
about
what you're
every
saying.
load.
Yeah. No,
He should have. So,
What do you want to do next, Steve?
well, we gotta vote on these, unless anybody else has a question.
We got a little astray.
Yeah.
Anything else on the financial report?
Thursday?
Huh? This is Kirsten's.
That's what we're on.
Call for a vote.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
I vote yes. Financial report.
So,
Go ahead, John.
the financial report number 2, the I don't know,
Checking safe,
second one that's in the handouts.
checking safe.
Yeah, does that reflect our transfers to,
No, it won't reflect because it goes through October 31st.
oh,
Yes, no, they're in there because they were done October 24th. So they should have been moved out to actual CDs. Yeah, you're right, because that one didn't happen until November 7th.
You're thinking you want it back up? Yeah, me too. Can't, we can't though, I don't think. Oh, shoot.
So move to approve the financial reports.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Terry.
Who made the motion?
John? Anything else on it? Call for vote?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
yes?
Yes.
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 I vote yes. And the whole business, North Coos and East Coos contract.
So if I recall, at the last meeting, we had tabled this so that everybody could review the numbers. I believe that's where we left things.
I'll make a motion to put this back on the agenda.
I'll second.
Second by, motion by John, second by Steve.
I just had a question on that, opening paragraph. It says this agreement may be canceled at any time. Is that a smart thing to do, or?
That's what the previous contract had in.
Yeah, but I'm thinking that shouldn't either party give notice of 30 days, or,
We can build that into that if that's what the board would like to do.
because you might leave somebody hanging if you just automatically.
Well, I think you should leave it in there because if things go a little sour, you can pull out. I mean, in the first place, all this stuff should be studied by a professional. I think the numbers are really low. And what each coach is paying for stuff.
What number do you think is low?
I think they're all low.
Those are all actual numbers based on 3-year averages expenses
From who?
from our books. I pulled every single one of those numbers and looked at a 3-year
But-
monthly average.
Realistic, you think these are we're charging enough?
Yes,
If you wanna, I mean, we could refer that to, our engineers or whatever as well.
I mean, if we want to pay significant money to do it, we can have an engineer do it or an accountant. And I don't think that the numbers are going to be significantly different than what I've done.
I don't-
The
So
budget
you
committee-
think a loaded, hourly loaded rate of 55.25 is fair
Yes,
to North Coach?
yes. And when the budget committee reviewed this with me, they also agreed with those numbers.
We looked at it in a bunch of different ways, and I think what we all came up with at the end was that we thought it was fair.
The number has gone up since the last time you've seen this because we found out that one of the retirees' healthcare coverages is going to take a significant increase next year. So I factored that in, so this is a little bit different than what you saw last month. It's a little bit higher yet.
Just to try to anticipate any problems in this for the cancellation of contract, what do you think that, the unemployment, I mean, if we had to lay somebody off, what would be the,
Oh, with the contract?
yeah,
I'd have to review the contract, but realistically, for us to run this plant with only 4 people would be very difficult. When we benchmarked against other localities within the region, we are running extremely lean all over, or already, and that's not even factoring in the work that we do with East Cooch. a plant our size with, especially, I also benchmarked with 3 different engineers as well and said, you have working knowledge of our plant compared to what you see in most places, how many people would you expect to see working in our plant? And they said a minimum of 4. They said our plant is not an easy plant.
Tertiary treatment.
Yep, and when we did the upgrade, basically we created 2 separate plants that instead of having redundancy within one line, we basically have 2 lines. So that makes it even more complicated. We don't have an easy plant to run, and we're already doing extremely well having only 4 guys, especially when we factor in the East Cooch. So I don't, based on the information that we've gathered already, I think it would be very difficult for us to even consider laying off somebody.
So, who sends out the,
Right,
who
Steve?
sends out the bills for East Cooch? It's a quarterly thing, I imagine. huh?
Monthly,
What's monthly?
they pay every month.
I thought they were billed quarterly.
No, they're billed every single month.
And at this point, it's $11,700 a month.
No, but I mean the residential ones.
Oh, residential,
So-
Stacy does that.
So the,
Quarterly.
and that's quarterly, so the postage fees, I mean, you have office supplies like 122.
Yep, and when we looked at that, that's one of those that we looked at and said, once a quarter, there are significant postage fees for East Cooch,
Right.
but throughout the rest of that quarter, it's very minimal.
So
So
it averages out.
maybe we should go, I mean, if somebody was arguing with me about postage fees, I'd say maybe we could go 60-40 for East Cooch, but at the end of the day, it's not gonna be a significant
Can
change.
I argue with that on that? Because they're billing our postcard that already has a postage permit on it. So
Oh, that's right.
East Cooch pays for
Cheaper.
their postcards with a postage permit.
Right, I was thinking copier, because
Okay.
we've had this conversation about the copier too.
Well, I was just thinking like stamps about 50 cents, so, but you.
Doesn't
this is
affect
not-
my billing for East Cooch.
It's all postcard.
Mr. Chair, how did we determine on office expenses and I assume other items there that it's a 50-50 split?
Stacy and I talked about each item and about the actual usage between North Cooch and East Cooch. And we kind of just agreed that most of these come out 50-50. Some of them might be 60-40, but then there might be another one that's 40-60. So we figured the easiest way to go on this was 50-50. That's one that we haven't actually documented every single copy that's made by each entity, or time associated with it. That one, we did kind of one of those, we're pretty close at 50-50, it seems like a fair split. So that's how we did those.
What does she actually do for North Cooch?
Who?
Stacy? What are her duties per day for North Cooch?
She does all of our billing, or excuse me, she does all
I
of
thought
our.
the city did our billing.
City only takes care of payroll.
For our water and sewer?
Yes,
Okay.
but I'm talking, she takes care of all of our books. Any payment that comes in, she processes.
You mean people from the city are sending money here?
Our bills, the disbursements, anything that.
You said money that's coming in,
I said bills that are coming in,
that's money going out.
yes. That's our bills.
Difference, some going in and coming out.
She takes care of all of our books.
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
I remember back years ago that a previous administration had the assistant logging time every 15 minutes as to who she was working for.
No.
Yeah,
No.
Yeah, and so, but I don't remember what, you know, I don't remember.
You can't do that to anybody.
Well, that's what happened.
That wouldn't be
And I
right
don't
there.
remember I cannot remember what the report said, what the percentage was.
No, you wouldn't want to do that.
Mr. Chair, I think this looks fair. I don't know what it was last year for the monthly total, I didn't look back, but,
11,400,
Seven.
11,700 each month.
and so East Cooch has already seen this figure and
They've seen, like I said, I made a little bit of a change with this retiree information that I
Yeah.
got recently, but they saw basically this without that change.
so we approve it, and then now they have to go back and approve it.
That's correct.
Okay,
And that's assuming that they don't have any tweaks that they want to make.
okay.
I mean, they may
Yeah.
not completely feel that this contract is fair, and they may have something to counter with.
I don't know what they can argue with, but,
Well, I think if you look at the third page in that stapled bundle, that's the East Cooch hours.
mhm.
So each month they're paying for 85 hours, and there's only 4 months that they've used all those hours. Going forward with the Island View project, I would expect that we're going to be closer to the 85 hours each month, if not exceeding it. But that might be something that East Cooch might want to look at and say, you know, maybe we don't agree with these hours, we might want to go less, we may want to go more, we might want to go less until we hit Island View, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Or, I mean, they may even decide that they want to just not even partner with us anymore. There are firms out there that specialize in doing what we're doing.
Go ahead, Don.
I think that this is a realistic figure. I think the East Cooch Board right now is gonna look at the hours that we're paying for every month. The Island Peak project is a completely different thing. None of us knows what's gonna happen out there. If we have to put on more people, if we can, how we're gonna do it, it's still up in the air. And until that project gets on board, we'll have to deal with it then. And that's why that first paragraph that we talked about before is there. This contract can be renegotiated at any time.
Mr. Chairman, are you, we voted to put this back on the table. Now, we need a vote to recommend approval, or give our approval.
Did you actually
this,
vote on the motion to put it back on the table?
Well, we already voted on that, we needed a motion to take this up again, but now has there been a motion to approve the contract?
We haven't voted to actually bring it back on.
Yeah.
No, we haven't.
We had the
Oh,
motion
we're
to
still-
All we've
untable.
done is discussed it.
Yeah,
So actually, we
we
probably
should
should have
vote
voted
because
for
we're,
that.
we should vote on that because we're discussing it now.
Yeah, we should have done that first.
Then we can discuss it, yeah, we should vote, and then we can discuss it.
Okay, call for a vote for North Cooch and East Cooch contract.
To untable it.
On table it?
No,
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Move to approve the contract.
Second motion.
Got a motion by Steve, second by John. Any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question for Donna. Now, why would it be advantageous for East Cooch to negotiate the hours? 'Cause right now, we're allowing 85 hours, and you're not using.
we're paying for
You're
85,
paying,
for 85 hours.
where do you see that?
You're actually paying for a lot more than 85 hours.
Where do you see that? I don't see that. That's included in the contract, up to 85 hours. Anything over, you pay extra.
Right,
So you're included in the contract for 85 hours.
right, and it's possible that we might say that 85 hours should be reduced.
So what he's saying is, in the contract, 85 hours is built in,
Well,
cost-wise also.
they're paying for one full-time operator at loaded salary. That's what it says. Right, and that's up to 85 hours a month.
but they're only getting half of that operator's time, technically free, the 85 hours, or about half. So they're paying for a whole salary,
Yeah.
but we're only saying that East Cooch can use them, basically half a month. And then anything above that half a month, they have to pay extra for. So anything over 85 hours, they're basically paying the salary for that operator twice. Which is a pretty good deal for North Cooch.
Mr. Chair, how do we, what is the process for determining the hours?
Well, kind of a honor system that the employees go to the lake, they mark down the number of hours they're at the lake, and
Every time they're called out, they keep a log. They indicate where they went and how long they spent there. And then that log is added up, and if there's any overtime or call-outs, then those premiums are added. So if they have a red light that goes off at 7 o'clock at night, even if they only spend 15 minutes up there flicking that switch, whatever they have to do, we bill East Cooch 2 hours of that because of the call-out.
so if I asked for 2 weeks ago, call-outs for the times they went out of the city, do you have that on hand? You can show me,
It's in the plant, yeah.
so,
And each month they send it over to Stacy so that we can add up those numbers and make sure that everything's right.
so if somebody wanted to see the number of hours being spent in East Cooch, it's not a problem.
Right
The
there.
last 2 years up to the end of November.
Well, and I think this 85 hours has been on a contract for many years, so I don't know why now they're gonna argue it.
It had changed a few times, like when we were looking back at contracts, and I didn't keep track of how often it had changed or when, but I think this is the next iteration was the 85 hours.
For the last 5 years,
I was
maybe.
gonna say maybe it coordinated with Jack Fish.
I don't know, Don, do you remember when this was revised to include the 85 hours?
It goes back to when Tony was the head of the East Cooch.
Yeah, that's over 5 years then.
Mhm.
Mr. Chair, so on a call out to a lift station that's a problem, we only pay our employees 2 hour call out time?
2 hours prior to 10 PM. After, from 10 PM to 7 AM, then they get 4. Sorry? 2.5, sorry. It changed in the contract a little bit.
That's minimum, that's
Yeah,
a minimum
and then
call
there's
out,
time and a half typically on top of that as well.
over the 2 hours, whatever.
So if there's a call out to East Cooch, that only takes them 15 minutes to resolve, and it's between 4 PM and 10 PM, we're billing East Cooch basically for 3 hours. Because it's 2 hours for the call out at time and a half.
And does that count against the 85 hours then?
Yes, it counts as 3 towards that 85.
Well, Mr. Chair, I agree with Don. I mean, everything's gonna change next year. We're gonna have to, as things get brought online, might not be till 2019, when we're gonna be really kicking
Isn't
in
a
up there.
contractor responsibility for that new line for such and such, for a period of time?
No. No, there's gonna be 2 phases as they go through the contract. It's
So
called-
when Wagner's pull out, it's East Cooch, Wagner doesn't have to,
I can finish explaining it to you if you want.
no, I mean, just saying, isn't there some kind of
I'll explain it to you.
warranty?
No, so as they commission each portion for each neighborhood, however it's gonna end up being done, they'll go through, there's a checklist that will be made that, East Cooch representatives, which would be Don if he chose to, or our employees, acting on behalf of East Cooch, along with the engineer and the contractor, would all go through that checklist and make sure that everything's adequate. At that time, our employees would also be trained on the system that's being commissioned. Once everything is signed off and everybody's happy with it, we call that partial utilization. Once partial utilization happens, that then becomes the responsibility of East Cooch Sewer District, thereby our guys will need to maintain it. Once the entire project has been completed, there's two projects, so we'll have two areas, or two sections that will be deemed having completed, or achieving substantial completion. Once substantial completion is done, then that's when the warranties start on all the pumps and everything, but it never at any point in time, once there's sewage flowing through those lines, are anybody but East Cooch responsible for what's going on there. So as soon as we sign off on it and we have partial utilization, that means it's the responsibility of East Cooch.
And there is a 2-year
Warranty
warranty on the project.
But that's
After
if
final-
pumps
for
fail.
mechanical
Oh, okay.
problems, whatever.
I thought maybe that somehow you could bill back the contractor for the problems you're having with them.
Only if they're mechanical typically.
Now, hopefully there won't be very many.
Well, there'll be a retainage built in there too, I think, into the project, Mike. And so that until after substantial completion, you'll have to sign off on a retainage to,
I haven't
Pay
had
the
any
contract.
conversations about that, I'm not sure on that.
so there's a period of time where you can negotiate a little bit.
I haven't had
I believe,
conversations
yeah.
about that.
Is there anything else on this North Cooch or East Cooch contract? If not, let's call for a vote.
Well, Mr. Chair, I intend to vote no, because I believe that East Cooch should be operating their own collection system and maintaining it. So my vote is no.
Abstain.
Yes.
John?
Yes,
No.
Yes. Yes.
I vote no.
Or yes.
Okay, I negotiations.
Yep, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead, see.
that motion passed.
Evidently.
It's 4 yeses and 1 abstain, and 3
3
noes.
no's, yeah. You guys just agreed to pay whatever.
I don't know,
Because you guys just voted to pay whatever. You're more than happy with this contract. You just voted yes or pass it.
Yeah,
Well, what
it's
would
not
you
fair.
have changed?
We didn't vote to pay whatever, we voted to pay what we
You
spent a lot.
voted to accept it,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, move on. I-9.
So what you have there, the I&I investigation and elimination agreement, this is the document that we'll be presenting to the entities and begin negotiations on December 7th. That's when we'll have our first I&I meeting with the entities. So we're going to do it in 2 separate parts, basically. The first meeting will be for all 3 entities to meet with North Cooch all together. And then we'll just go through the schedule of compliance so that everybody understands and is on the same page. The second portion is that with each entity, we'll sit down and begin negotiating on this document. So those will be individual meetings that we'll have with each group. And this is just for information only. This is what our attorney drew up. It's basically, he took the schedule of compliance and turned it into basically a contract. We put in contractual language in it. And there are some blanks in here, and that's because we have to wait and see what the MPCA will agree to with us as well. So this will be a starting point on the negotiations.
so I understand it, this is the second proposal approved by the MPCA?
This has not been approved by the MPCA because we're still in negotiations with them. So we need to start having these negotiations. We're trying to get a jump start on it, to have these negotiations with the entities. because one of the milestones that we have to meet in this entire process with the MPCA is to sign, or to have one of these signed with each of the entities.
Okay. The point I want to bring up is that this represents a little bit of a change to the original document that was the guidelines suggested by the MPCA or mandated by the MPCA, because under Article 2, I think it was early on, it was suggested that under item 2, as I remember, the MPCA mandated certain things that had to be done. All on page 3, top of the page, all these different techniques were to be done. The smoke testing, the televising, the flow monitoring, all this stuff was mandated to be done. Now, in this document, and I think there was some pushback, at least on my part, because now with this change, it gives us a little flexibility to not have to use all those different methods, because all of them are expensive to do.
So when we met with the MPCA, we brought up that concern and indicated to them that basically the language that we thought that we would want to see in there was that these are the diagnostics that the MPCA was recommending, or as you said, they mandated that we do. We asked that instead of mandating it, they recommend that these are done, and if they're not done, to explain why. And they had to have a valid, the entities will have to have a valid reason as to why they're not doing those items, because some of them just may not be applicable, or they may have done them 2 years ago or something.
Or
So-
redundant to other
Right.
methods as
So
well.
that was one of the areas that we suggested we wanted to change to the MPCA. So that was in our meeting in July, so they took that under advisement. So there are, in some ways, we are possibly jumping the gun on some of these, because we don't have the MPCA signing off on them. But when Mr. Overstar put this together, these were ones that they kind of informally agreed to, but we don't have anything, we don't have a revised SOC from them. We just need to get the ball rolling and everybody talking and thinking about what's going to be coming down the road.
That's true. So, if you just provide a reason that why you didn't do it, is cost could be one of the legitimate reasons.
I
So
don't
these
know
small
how-
entities,
I don't know how well that'll fly with the
Wow.
MPCA, but
sure,
I know that Save International Falls has already started on doing some of these.
Yeah.
We don't know what the results are, whatever, but they've done the flow monitoring. And I don't know whether they've finished, completed that project, or where they're at with that thing, but, so they've done that, and I don't believe anybody else has done any of that yet.
Go ahead, Don.
Each party has to, or each identity has to agree to this, then North Cooch goes back to MPCA to negotiate with MPCA the amount of days.
this is not, we're not going to solve this in one meeting with each of the entities. So it is going to be a back and forth between between the entities and North Cooch and the MPCA as well. And realistically, like this section that we were just looking at, one of the points that we made with the MPCA is, I can't remember exactly what they had for days originally on this. It was either 90 or 180, I can't remember. But we said, some of these, it was a quick turnaround from the step right above it. And we said, you can't do it because some of these have to be done in the fall, some have to be done in the spring. So we can't meet that window. So we're working through some of those things with them to try to understand how we can make this so that it's a document that everybody can live with and still make sense.
MPCA in their original letter to North Cooch had the days
Yep,
listed.
Yep.
That has to be where you have blanks now. So each identity has to agree to this resolution or the agreement with North Cooch. Then North Cooch goes back to MPCA to negotiate those time.
yes. The times are
Then,
gonna be the big thing.
then it has to come back to each identity to get them to agree to it.
Yeah, I'm gonna totally feel like a monkey in the middle for a while. bouncing back and forth between either side that I have pulling on us.
I could foresee this taking,
And that's truly done, that's why we wanted to get a jump on this one, because this one is also going to allow us to get very specific things from each entity to go back to the MPCA and say, listen, International Falls has a lot of lines that they have to go through and televise or whatever the indication is. So they can't do this in this little window that you're giving us. Maybe Rainier and East Cooch can, but this is gonna be tough for International Falls. So what can you do for us on this window of time? So, I mean, as we're having these conversations directly with the entities, it's going to give us more direct communication from where the entities are, that we can go back to the MPCA and say, here's specific indications, and also at the same time, they're looking at this and they're thinking about this. They are working on it. We are moving towards where we need to get to.
so this agreement, there could be 3 different agreements, is
Technically,
what you're saying.
there could be. We're trying
You
to,
know, for Rainier, it might be 60 days. For East Cooch, it might be 120 days. For International Falls, it might be 3 years.
depending where we end up, yeah, we're trying to go in initially with the same template with everybody, but we know that we may not end up with the same agreements with everybody. But we don't know that until we start those conversations. It's that big plate of spaghetti, you just pull one noodle at a time and see what you get.
And then, you know, just the scheduling with various firms vendors that do these different examinations, you know, we don't know when we'll be able to get somebody to do something.
Yep. So, like I said, as long as we show the MPCA that we are trying to move forward and we are baby steps making progress, they're going to continue to work with us. It's if we stop and don't get anywhere, that we're gonna have problems. So that'll be December 7th, and I'll be meeting with our team and with the entities.
That's,
Mr. Chairman, is this, do I understand this is just information for the board today?
That's correct.
I do have one question on page 2, item 2B5. What would be an example of a private collection system?
To be, oh, but. I would interpret that as laterals from homes to the main line. That's how you interpret that? Laterals. I think so.
Are you asking if East Cooch is a private?
No,
Or
no,
Rainier?
I'm asking, so this document pertains to International Falls, and it says here that as an entity, we would have to take and have an evaluation of inflow and infiltration contributed from a private collection system.
Such as the paper plant or something like that?
That's what I'm asking, what does it pertain to? What does 5 pertain to? What's an example?
I would read that as laterals, but maybe it is also more of our commercial facilities as well.
entities.
No, I
Separate
more-
entities?
No, I think it's more commercial and private hookups to the main line.
Did you want to get an explanation on that?
Oh, we will when we have discussion, I'm sure. I just was asking for an example for today.
That might be wording directly from the MPCA's, from the SOC. I'll highlight it, Bob, and make sure that we have an answer for that one.
Mr. Chair, is it our responsibility then to get this to our entity?
So what'll happen, This was for, basically, for the members of the North Cooch Board to see what we were going to start working on. Now that I have shared this with you, I have the location set, I have a schedule set, I'll be creating an agenda and sending the agenda along with this document to the people that have been identified as my point people with each entity, and then I'll leave it up to them to distribute that to their people as appropriate. But yes, you have it, if you want to share it, that's fine. I just will be doing a formal disbursement or a distribution at some point.
Is there anything else on that I&I? I don't think we have to vote on that. It's just
Nope, it's for information only.
for information only, and let's go to budget.
Okay, so budget. Last time we looked at this, I had 2 columns. One, if we wanted to expand our personnel considering the East Cooch expansion. It was indicated that you didn't want to include that in the budget going forward, that we would reopen the budget if we needed to come July or whenever the appropriate time would be. So I've taken that out. First column is what I have for the 2018 budget. And then at the same time, there was also information requested as to where we were for 2017 as well. So, first column, those flows, as we've discussed before, are based on 5-year rolling averages. I did, based on the schedules that we've been seeing at the contractors meeting, try to put in some estimate for flow from East Cooch, so that has that built into there for next year, or because of the expansion. I think as I indicated before, the dumping I've decreased over last year because as facilities come online, the dumping should decrease. I'm not sure how many of the actual dumpers would be online for 2018. Some of them may be 2019, but under budget on the income and we'll be safe that way. As we go through, nothing's changed in wages. To tell you the truth, there haven't been many changes since the last time you saw it, unless I've gotten updates on insurances for 2018, etc. Oh, there was one question from last time about, let me find it on here.
Compensated absence.
Yes, compensated absences, 401.99. I asked our accountant about that, and he said typically what that is for is if somebody's off on vacation or sick time, he actually would move that cost out of the general fund and put it against the compensated absences. It's not something that has to be done. He said it was something that had been done in the past. But then as I looked at this more, the only place that we have the compensated absences expense, and it's something actually budgeted over the past few years, is for the admin. We never even had it for the plant. So it looks like, I'm guessing that maybe at some point it was either missed on 430.99 for the plant expenses, or somebody consciously took it out and said, we don't need to be that detailed. I'm not sure. But he said, the accountant said, as long as we're budgeting for it with salaries, we don't necessarily need to have that expense in there. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. Like I said, we kind of went through the majority of this before. There haven't been significant changes. If there are specific questions, I can address them.
Now, would this be considered today, would this be the second reading of the budget?
That's how I would interpret it, yes.
And the final budget has to be passed next meeting?
Yes. Unless we're okay to pass it today. My thought is until we have the East Cooch contract buttoned up, I don't know if we want to pass the budget, but I'll leave that decision to the board.
Well, we have a quorum today.
Yeah, I think we should probably wait out till we get East Cooch contract settled before we settle on this one.
At the end of the day, any
I mean-
changes to the East Cooch contract are not going to be significant enough since we've already passed the contract or agreed to the contract. I don't know that it's going to affect the budget that much, but I'll let all of you weigh in or make decisions on that as well. Even if we change the hours a little bit as to how East Cooch was billed, we're looking at, I mean, the total for East Cooch is 162,000. It's not gonna change appreciably. It might change 10% at most, which is only $16,000, and when we're looking at a income of $1.6 million, it's 1%.
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to accept the 2018 budget as presented.
Motion by John, you have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Gary. Any discussion?
Well, the way I see it, the only change then between 2017 and 18 is about 20 grand, or you're budgeting about 20 grand more than what we budgeted in 2017.
A difference in profit, yes.
It says total expense on page, or on second page from the back.
Oh, on the net income as well, we're only $22,000 different than last year, than what was budgeted last year.
That's based on anticipated revenues by the 5-year moving average of the flow.
That factors into it, but it could also be, 22,000 could be the Island View expansion.
Oh.
I can tell you for sure in a second, John, when my computer wakes up. And, I mean, there are some, in some instances, I did increase on some of the expenses, like, I bumped up plant maintenance, for one, that is with an increase in salary for employees. We bumped up office expenditures a little bit because we'll probably need some computers soon. It's an increase in professional services because of the I&I mostly, and we're into contract negotiations next year, so I increased that from this year. So there are some increases as well in the expenses.
Expenses are a little bit lower.
Oh, the main reason for that is because the PFA expense decreased considerably because we closed out the last year on that. So typically, we've been paying $455,000 a year, or that's what the total PFA has been. And next year, it's going to go to about $419,000.
Right. So, you know, this whole thing's built on no increase in rates?
That's correct.
Cindy, where would the expense for legal on this I&I be put? Is that under 435.61?
Nope, we put a bunch of that into 410.
410?
Yep. We did also put a little bit into the 435 like you looked at, just because if we have to do any big projects out there, I did build a little bit for insurance.
What is our contract costs for this I&I with,
AE2S,
yeah,
it was 44,000 in all, I believe. I'd have to look back, but it was right in that neighborhood, I think. And we've already probably consumed a third to half of that this year already, I think.
yeah, but we only, for general legal, that's what it would be under?
Oh, nope. It would be under engineering. 41010 is engineering.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chairman, Cindy, why would we show a net income profit increase? Why would we show a net income profit increase? Why wouldn't we look to have a balanced budget of income and expenses?
Basically, I assigned the numbers. I didn't necessarily try to balance the budget tightly, just because we're dealing with Mother Nature on flow. And while we put forth our best effort on trying to anticipate what the incomes would be, we really have no control over that. So to tell you the truth, I'd much rather run with a little bit of a surplus in anticipation of having a really dry year than being right at zero and having to be concerned with what Mother Nature throws at us.
But we're also sitting on several $1 million that the entities have paid in, so why do we need to worry about showing an net income increase?
Well, that 52,000 that I'm showing as a budgeted increase, it is literally like 2.5% of our total income. So I mean, to me, that's going pretty close to budgeted when you look at that kind of an income versus profit. 2.5% when you look at it isn't much wiggle room.
We're sitting on top of several $1 million.
And if the board wants to change the budget, I'm open to that.
I would move, Mr. Chairman, to amend the motion to reduce the budget by $52,000.
Second thought.
By what amount,
52,000.
52.
Would we do that by reducing rates? Would that be probably the way we do it, or else would we reduce it?
Run that by me again, Terry?
Would we do that by reducing rates,
No, no.
or just our estimates for expenditures? Would it really be, yeah,
No, you
So in other
can't,
words, it's-
you can't reduce, no, you couldn't reduce the rates, no, absolutely not.
so in other words, these numbers are pretty well set already then. How would we reduce it, I guess would be my question.
Well, you can't predict Mother Nature, that's basically what Stacy argued.
I know, so.
But you
how
would say,
would we-
right,
How would we reduce it?
right, you would have to reduce rates to make this thing.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just,
Balance.
you're just moving numbers around, which I'm very familiar with working for the county. You can move numbers around to make something balance, but are you really doing anything? That's my question, because I don't want anticipation that we actually reduce anything, because we aren't really reducing, we're just changing numbers around.
Well, and the other part of that too is not knowing what the I&I is gonna bring. We could eat up that 52,000 in a hurry. I mean, that's two and a half 20 horsepower pumps. And having said that, we have one that's failing right now. I mean, one of those pumps is 16,000. We
But
could eat up.
we're sitting on millions of dollars that the entities have paid in. There's no concern on my part that we don't have sufficient funds, even if we overspend the budget.
But why would we want to run our budget in the negative? That's not a good business decision.
Well, why would we sit on several $1 million that the entities have paid in? Let's give them back the money then, and then take and,
And what happens if we have a catastrophic failure that we need to
Yeah.
address?
Yeah,
we've got money set aside for that also. We've got an additional $1 million for that, so.
That $1 million that's in the WIP fund, it has to have approval by the MPCA,
And if we have a catastrophic failure, they will approve it.
and it'll take months to get that approved because you have to have the engineering project approved as well.
I'll tell you what, I'm really afraid to do something like that, because now I asked you to comment on the proposed sulfate standard.
Which is a big unknown.
To be, yeah, and if that is approved, if the MPCA is given rulemaking authority to impose a sulfate standard, that might be, cost us a couple $1 million right there.
At
I mean, probably would cost us at least a couple $1 million.
Some places are saying put a couple zeros behind that as well. WLSSD is talking 500 million, I think was the number, to address the sulfate standard.
So those are kind of things that we gotta, and make sure that we're prepared to face in the future.
So I believe we have a motion on the table.
Well, my motion was to accept this budget, and,
We went through that already, though.
No, we haven't voted.
I don't
We
agree
have
to,
Bob's motion and.
I don't agree to amend my budget, I'll leave my motion, I'll leave my motion as is.
And that was seconded by Terry.
Terry,
And then Bob made a motion.
To amend it.
So in this budget, you have budgeted for no new equipment, right?
No brand new equipment, I did put money in for replacement equipment, yes, if we need it. It's under the maintenance dollars.
Don't you have to have a vote on the friendly amendment or the amendment before?
Yeah.
Did you make a motion on that?
Amendment.
I made the motion to
Amend the
accept
budget by 52.
the budget as presented.
Did we have we don't need a
Second.
second. Second by,
Keisha
Keisha.
seconded it.
Any more discussion? If not, call for a vote.
What are you voting on? Which one?
Whether we're gonna reduce.
The original amendment.
Budget, amendment,
52,000.
52,000.
Okay.
But that was a friendly amendment, and John rejected
No, no,
that.
but that was not seconded. I don't accept the friendly amendment to my motion.
Well, I don't think you have a choice.
Well, it's not a friendly amendment, I'll tell you that.
It doesn't have to be a friendly amendment.
Yeah, no, we gotta vote on the
It's
underlying,
an amendment on the budget, and
we,
the motion
we
is to
have
reduce
to,
the
we have to
budget
vote
by
on the
52,000.
underlying motion, and then we could vote on the amendment to the motion.
No,
No, amendment to the motion first?
yes,
Was there a second to it?
yes.
Oh, okay, well, then you can call for that.
Amendment.
Call for a vote for the $52,000 reduction in the budget, I guess, all.
Yes.
No,
No.
No,
Yes.
No.
no.
I vote no. Okay, now
now
the budget.
now the underlying amendment, or the underlying motion, the original
Accept the
motion.
budget.
Any more discussion on the budget? If not, let's call for a vote.
No.
yes,
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Yes.
I vote no. Operators report.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, board members, first of all, our sludge hauling, that was completed at the end of October. And Mountain Environmental hauled about 272,000 gallons out of our sludge storage tank. We've got, the tank is cleaned out, it's all washed down, the lines are all drained back, and we're ready to go into winter with it. And our digester should have plenty of capacity to get us through the winter. Because we run the gravity belt thickener and we try to get everything out of our secondary digester as possible. Till we're just pumping water, so we know we have plenty of room to go through the winter. Like I say, we drained everything back, washed everything down. We inspected the anode packs that are in the sludge storage tank. We talked about that a couple of times over the last couple of years. They still look pretty good. I don't think we need to replace them yet. Probably because we're only using the tank 6 months out of the year. Then we drain it. But the anode packs in the tank were inspected, they look good. One thing that we do have to get done here, and we should get this done this winter, is our mixing pump for the sludge storage tank has a seal that's leaking really bad on it. So every time our mixer runs, our sludge mixing pump, we've got sludge all over the floor in the gravity belt thickener room. and the seal's leaking bad. We've tried to adjust it, we just can't get it to seal. And that seal should be replaced. It's a Wemco chop flow pump, and we've got pricing on the seal. We priced the seal, I believe, a year or so ago, and then we just recently priced it, and the seal's gone up $400 since the last time we priced it. So we should think about getting that seal replaced this winter.
So that's one that we're gonna ask for approval from the board to replace. It's $4,000,
Yeah,
so continue.
yeah, it's 4,000 for that seal. And we should probably bring somebody in, some millwrights in that have a lot of experience with putting seals in big pumps and stuff like that. It's just a lot of money for that seal, and it's gotta get replaced. Also, Cervical was here. Actually, Ron from Cervical is fading out of the business and turning his company over to a company called Flow Measurement and Control. They came up and calibrated all of our main billing flow meters. They did a real good job. And all of our main flow meters for billing purposes that we have to do twice a year, they checked out good. The new flow meter at 1, 7, they were all right on the money, and all the rest of our flow meters too, the plant. So everything is checked out, all our flow meters are all calibrated. Also, Preferred Controls, who is doing the controls for the Island View project, they were up a few weeks ago, and they were going through the Jackfish system, trying to change out PLCs in all the old panels in our main lift stations out in Jackfish. They ran into some trouble, and they're gonna be back at a later date to continue on with that. That way, everything is compatible. The Jackfish and the Island View, we've got all the same stuff in these panels.
They'll be back the week of December 11th to change out those PLCs, and then the following week, they're gonna come back and do an upgrade to our SCADA system for us as well as part of the or the Island View project.
It's not our cost.
That's correct, Island View project is paid for.
I think I mentioned this before, lift station 7, the pole is bad by the Rainier Park there, that's North Koochiching lift station. That's not completed yet, it's been started a little bit, we got parts and stuff ordered. It's just that Minnesota Power didn't have the manpower to help us with it. We were a little short-staffed for the last month or so here with hunting season and the end of October, guys were on vacation, so it is on the works, it's in the works to get that replaced as soon as possible. It may be that we have to wait till spring to replace that pole. And Minnesota Power is on board with us, but you can see that we've started getting parts and stuff ordered for it. And if you look in there, we had to order this meter base for the station, and what that is it's a removal, so you can bypass the power through there and pull the meter out. And it's mandatory by Minnesota Power that the customer install that, has that installed. That means that if they have to take that meter out of there, they can bypass the power through there instead of just pulling the meter right off of it. They must have had one explode on somebody or something, we don't know, but that's what's mandatory for the customer to put in when you're doing a pole replacement. So that's what that's on there. I think it's about $400 for that meter base. And Jeff's been taking care of all that with Canner and Minnesota Power and stuff, and he's on top of this stuff pretty good. He understands all that, so he knows exactly what we need to get. And he's done it for East Cooch, replacing some poles out there, even though their meter bases aren't quite as expensive, because he told me that that's because they're single phase on the grinders, and this one here is a 3-phase meter base, so he's on top of all that. Also, ferric. We just got another load of ferric sulfate. We expected that about the 1st of December, but it ended up coming like mid-November here. And the reason we've been using a little bit more is we're not discharging. Usually when we discharge out of the ponds, we bring that pond water in, and that dilutes our flow, and we notice right away we can start adjusting our ferric multiplier, the dosage. We can adjust the dosage down a little bit when we got dilution coming in from the ponds, which about maybe another month or so we'll start bringing water out of the ponds to the plant, just so we have a constant steady flow for the winter too. The flows drop in the winter, so that's when we like to bring that water out of the ponds to the plant. And that should help reduce our ferric usage too. But we run it to meet our limit. We have to run it, you know, whatever it takes to make it work. So we ended up at like 2 or 3 weeks. You know, we figured about another 2 or 3 weeks before we needed to load, but it just didn't work out that way. Also, there was guys off, you know, we had guys gone for hunting season and stuff, and we ran the plant with minimum staffing and stuff, but everybody was available. We were on board with each other with our phones and stuff. Something happened, call us. Anything happens in the basement over there, don't go down by yourself or something, and we were on, everybody had their phones, and we were available for another guy if need be, so we made it all work out. The chlorination system, that was shut down November 1st. So we're done chlorinating now till April 1st. So we'll be down for like 5 months without chlorinating. And I talked about that PT with ERA. We will start doing that again as of April. So we shouldn't have that bill for the next 5 months from ERA for the chlorine residual, which we have to do when we're chlorinating. Otherwise, we did meet all our effluent requirements for this past month, for the month of October, and the DMR was submitted. And John, he submitted that last week, and that was submitted, no problem. That's about all I have.
I think what we gotta do is, with that, get that seal put in that.
Would that require board action?
I
Or-
would prefer it to be.
It's $4,000 or more. But if we're spending that kind of money for a seal, then we'll get a professional to come up and put it in. Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, Greg, who would be qualified?
Well, we're thinking Cullen,
They would be qualified
Yeah.
to change a seal
yeah.
based on what?
Well, they do a lot of pump work, millwright work. They've done work for us in the plant before, and they do a real good job. They can bring a couple guys in that are specialized in that area, and they can stay with it and get the job done. And
You feel it's too big a job for you guys to do?
yeah, I do. I
Mr.
mean,
Chair,
I mean, if some,
I would move that we authorize the operator to order the seal and secure a qualified contractor to install the seal on receiving it.
I'll second that.
Does that outfit you buy the seal from, do they have people that would install it too?
I don't know that, we could check on that
But
too.
probably, but then you'd end up paying,
They're gonna be
mileage
coming from
and-
out of town and,
Yeah,
yeah, but you're spending $4,000, you want that seal put in right too.
yeah, but they're equipment people, we'd be better off having trained millwrights doing it that have experience
Yeah.
doing this.
I mean, if this company's sending people up, I'm sure they're trained too to put seals in. They're not gonna send a couple of.
Well, we can check on
paper
it.
Pushers.
It's up to him to find us
Yeah.
a qualified contractor.
Whatever you think.
we'll make a few calls.
Yeah, call for a vote.
Yes,
Yes.
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 I vote yes.
Mr. Chairman, Greg, so when we're taking effluent from the ponds, does it go to the equalization basin and then to here?
Yes.
Or does it bypass?
EQ,
Does it bypass the EQ?
no,
It does not,
does not.
okay. So then, when we have inflow and infiltration in the summertime, and that's virtually clean water,
Coming out of the ponds?
just as we would come into the system, any kind of inflow or infiltration would come into the system, it would likely be clean water.
Yep.
And so, did that go into the equalization basin also, and dilute what's in there?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does dilute it.
And
And
so,
our-
do we have to adjust our treatment system
Yep, we
here
adjust it.
when we have higher flows from inflow?
Yep. We do adjust our, we run it 3 days a week, we check our our Yeah, our FOS, we check it 3 days a week with an in-house test. We don't use that for reporting purposes. For reporting on our DMR, it has to be from PACE. But that way, by doing it in-house, that tells us where we're at, and then we adjust it. So with the dilution, we don't have to feed as much.
Very good, thank you.
Anything else? If not, let's move to the director's report.
So this month, we spent some time with Cindy Heibel going over all of our liability insurance. We have a number of properties that have been listed on that policy, and I don't know when the last time that it had actually been given appropriate attention was. Cindy this is her second year going through the renewals, and she wanted to make sure that everything was outlined properly. We did find a number of mistakes. We found properties that were no longer in use that were being insured. So she's gone through and fixed all of that. We spent some time, actually pretty much half a day with Greg, making sure that we understood what the pictures were that we had from the assessor's report, what they were, what we called them, and to make sure that everything was listed out properly on the policy, to make sure that if there are any issues that we're not insuring an area where we don't have property or vice versa. So we're waiting on the renewal on that. The other one, I'm looking at moving the Medicare policies to Cindy as well. When we look back when Cindy got all of the insurance, it looked like the intent was to move everything to her, and I think somehow the Medicare policies got overlooked. So I'd like to do to move those to her as well. We're not getting much response from the person that's listed as the agent right now, and there are some issues with that. Medicare right now, typically we're paying in the neighborhood of $110 a month, and the notices that have come look like they've gone up to $248 a month. So we think there's something not quite right there, so we need to dig into that a little bit. So we're going to be working on that. Spent time with Small Town Tech. They had to come out and look at the guy's computer for something, and while they were here, I took the opportunity to talk to them about our computer systems. The guys will likely need a computer sooner rather than later. Their computer has some years on it, and it's in a not very computer-friendly area with dust and everything. So I'd like to get them a new computer sooner rather than later. My computer is, well, pretty old to say the least. It's big and clunky and old, and it's pretty slow. So we're looking at possibly putting some more RAM into that computer just to make sure it actually does what I need it to do, and I don't have to sit here and wait for it to wake up. And then a while back, the request was made to find a better way to have people, when they're not here, be able to use FaceTime for meeting attendance, because FaceTime is probably not our best option. It's the cheapest one, but it's not the best option. So they gave a proposal, but I need to know from the board how much we're willing to spend to be able to make a more friendly system. The quote that they gave me was almost $600. I have a question on it. I'm not sure how it would work, but I need to understand from the board if that's something that we would be willing to invest money in, or if we want to try to go as cheap as we can, so we can revisit that when we're done this. Construction meetings, for Island View, Wagner will be wrapping up in December. USA intends to power through a little while, but it depends how Mother Nature, what she has to say about that. Going through the easements, making sure that we understand what property we have, and making sure that we have the appropriate paperwork for all of that, and that's no small feat, to tell you the truth. Sulfate rules, John asked about that. So right now, there is regulations that the MPCA is looking at imposing. You may have heard about it because it's going to affect a lot of people. They're looking at sulfate basically anywhere that there's wild rice in the discharge waters, because there's a belief that sulfates can affect wild rice production. unnecessary and will actually negatively affect the economy. As I indicated before, WLSSD indicated that for them to be able to appropriately treat sulfate, which would require a reverse osmosis system, they're looking at about a $500 million touch possibly. I saw one of the mines on the range indicated that for them it would be about a $200,000 touch. Right now, we actually use a sulfate-based chemistry in our system to reduce the phosphate and the mercury. So we would need to, at a minimum, look for an alternative to that if this went through and if we had to comply by it. We don't test sulfates generally in our water, so we don't even know what our levels would be. We don't know if we would have to worry about putting in an additional system, but this is something that's coming down the road. And considering that our permit has not yet been renewed for this past year, it's possible that if the MPCA imposes these regulations, that they could build them into our new permit. We don't know. There's a lot of questions right now. My understanding is that the entire situation is sitting in a judge's lap to decide whether or not the MPCA can actually go forward with this. The legislature has asked the MPCA not to do it. The MPCA basically has said we still intend to do it. So it's kind of a big mess right now. Nobody knows exactly where it's going to land, but it could get ugly. So I think that's, oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Steve.
On your computers, are you on like a rotation schedule for all the PCs? I mean, I should probably talk to the tech guy about that and see what
There's a lot of work that has to be done with the computers. About a year ago, we had this conversation and I took one step to get us so at least we're all using the most current software. Most of us are using the most current software. But these computers, like I said, the one in the plant's taking a beating right now. This one, I think, came out when I was still in high school. So there's improvements that need to happen on their computers.
Well, I know the plant needs a telemetry, right, on their computer?
Well, that's their computer.
Oh.
But this is their regular PC that they're using, but it has all of the DMRs that we submit. Anything that they need for their basically day-to-day administrative interactions are all on that computer. So we have to replace it at some point.
I don't know.
When did we switch all our, I thought Cindy Highball had our hospitalization for a period of time. When did we switch everything else over to her? I don't remember ever that coming to the board, did it?
October 2015.
Yeah.
We agree, but we're not calling bids from anybody else, we're just kind of going along with her?
That was,
Well, Medicare is Medicare.
Yeah, but you said other stuff, she's looking at properties and stuff.
Yep,
yes, sir.
that was already given to her in October 2015.
Through the League of Minnesota Cities.
So we just give it to her, we didn't call for bids or nothing?
Well,
From any
insurance,
other companies, ask them if they were interested?
I wasn't here, you were.
I must have been sleeping that day.
Yeah, I think it was.
I
Isn't
don't
that League of
remember.
Minnesota Cities or?
Yes.
It is, liability is League of Minnesota Cities, our car insurance is League of Minnesota Cities. So I mean, in terms of cost, it doesn't matter who the agent is, it's all about the service that you're getting from the agent. And Cindy has gone above and beyond for us on a lot of these that I've dealt with her on. So yes, I just think that the Medicare just didn't get switched over when everything else did. I think it was just an oversight.
And who is the agent now?
Tim Anderson.
Northern Reliable?
So we're gonna get away from Northern Reliable completely then?
That would be my intent.
But one thing about, you talk about, I know like Medicare and stuff like that, I've had increases in mine, so I mean, it's definitely gonna, I'm talking about the supplement part, right? That's what you were?
Part B.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna go up no matter.
We're looking at $150 a month
Yeah,
increase across each retiree and spouse.
I think mine
So that's
jumped about
600.
$15 or $20 a month for each one of us, jumped that much.
And we don't know for sure what plan the retirees had been on, but based on what we're paying, when Cindy sent me the schedule for next year, it actually looked like it should have gone down a buck or two. But I don't have any information as to what plan they've been on.
So we don't use this Karen Tweed at all then for our retirees? Huh?
She just information.
She also recommended what program to go with.
No, she can't.
Huh?
She can recommend it, but your insurance
Right,
agent can't.
but I mean, we don't, I mean, she's there and I mean, she's been very helpful.
No, she's good.
I am.
But I mean, but the agent can't.
She can't tell, she can she can tell,
recommend which one to take.
not what agent, but she can recommend what policy.
No, she can,
Right,
but the agent can't recommend which policy for you to take.
right.
So basically, we just have to figure out what the retirees have been on in the past and benchmark what they need to be on. The Medicare system is going to be changing as of 2019. Some of the blue plans are disappearing, the blue platinum plans are disappearing, and we expect that they're going to be phasing in some different plans. But there was a huge jump this year that needs to be addressed. And we just have to figure out why, how, and I had to call into our agent yesterday, I still haven't heard from him, and in a year and a half being in this position, that's the first time that I don't even know who he is. He's never reached out to me or anything, so.
You don't know who Timmy is? Well, their office is over by
Yep, by Domino's.
Domino's, yeah.
I don't deal with Tim, I get very good service from Northern Reliable, but I don't deal with Tim.
Do you need a motion now for that?
Based on what was written in the minutes in October 2015, it looks like the intention was to move everything to Cindy. I mean, if we want to make a motion to make it very cut and dry, that we're moving our Medicare to Cindy as well, along with everything else, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Sure. When would it need to be, when does Cindy need this finalized?
She said the date was October 5th or 10th, must be October 5th, maybe that's when we have to get everything dialed in.
October or December?
December, I'm sorry.
And you've reached out to Timmy and he's never returned?
I called him yesterday, I haven't heard back. He could have been out of the office, I don't
Yeah.
know. But Cindy is doing everything else for us, and her service has been exceptional. I mean, she's gone above and beyond. Even when I called her about this, thinking that she had this, she started helping me immediately, and then she told me that she didn't have the policy. So if we want to make it a formal motion to move the Medicare as well to Cindy, like I said, that would be good.
I don't know,
I
that's
think you
guys.
reached out to Mr. Anderson, I think you should wait.
Okay, clock's ticking. If I don't have an answer from him, probably by the end of the week, I'm going to need to work with somebody to make sure that this is addressed. Otherwise, we're going to have a $600 a month expenditure additional.
How long ago was it that you reached out to?
It was yesterday, when I found out about this.
So, I mean-
I don't think we can wait. I think, I'd just soon move it.
Well, I mean, you gotta give a person more than one day's notice.
200, went up how much, $200?
It went for each person from 110 roughly to 148, or 248, I'm sorry.
So, $130. And Cindy
Per-
said hers is only gonna go up a
It
dollar.
jumped $130 per
We
person?
Yeah.
a month?
And Cindy's is gonna go down a dollar.
Based on what we think we have right now.
So are you making a motion?
I'm making a motion to just move Medicare to, with Cindy Highball Solutions.
I'll second that.
Motion by Steve, second by Terry. Any more discussion? Call for a vote on it?
Well, it seems, Mr. Chair, that we are jumping to conclusions. We haven't even talked to the agent, and, I mean,
Well, it appears to me that this was actually already taken care of in October 2015, that everything was supposed to be moving to Solutions. That the notes are slightly vague, but it's implied that everything was supposed to be moved to Cindy. So to me, this is just a double check to make sure that we're all on board with it.
What's the latest date that you can pay it?
I think it's December 5th, but I don't know that for sure.
Go ahead, Terry.
So, we're not gonna have any meeting to vote on before then.
That's
Is
correct.
that something you can make a decision on, or input?
We can call a special meeting.
Well, but I just get.
I don't think it's something we just leave up to the decide.
Give the guy a chance to, call you back, and then and if he doesn't, then put a date on it that he goes to Cindy.
Well, and everything's already with Cindy. Like I said, to tell you the truth, based on what I'm reading in this October 2015, these minutes, to me, it's already said and done, and this was more of a formality and a courtesy to the board that I was notifying you rather than asking for approval. But because of the fact that it's a little ambiguous in there, I wanted to bring it up.
Shouldn't we have known about this earlier than today, that this is due on the 5th of December?
Well, I mean, if you want to get technical about it, the notice that the retirees got was dated October, and our agent never said anything.
And
The retirees brought it to our attention and said, this is something that needs to be addressed. So, I mean, from that perspective, if that letter was dated October, then that means the agent knew. And the agent should have also been aware that we were taking a 150% price increase for each employee, or each retiree. So to me, that's a little delinquent on the agent's part as well.
Yeah, I don't know, it just sounds kind of, I don't know, it seemed like a heck of a jump, and I know mine jumped, but it didn't jump anywhere near like that. Mine jumped, I think, $15 or $20 a month, it didn't jump $120 a month.
And that's why I'm digging into it.
Can I?
I mean, did you call, I don't know, go
Did that
ahead.
come from-
I hate to interrupt, but I'm wondering if there isn't a mistake.
Yeah.
Were the retirees on Platinum, Blue Lat? What plan were they on? Platinum?
Well,
Go
I don't
up.
even know.
Senior Gold, it was a different plan, I don't think they offer that anymore. It was Senior Gold.
It was Senior Gold?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just wondering if the plan was a premium for a different plan was accidentally sent out.
Well,
because-
it
again,
happened
you
to
would hope
both
that they,
retirees as well.
yeah, both retirees and their spouses. And again, if there was a mistake, you would hope that the agent would have caught that.
Well, I'm not in favor of having a special meeting to approve this later on. You know,
Well, you have a motion on the table right now to move all Medicare insurance to Solutions agencies.
Well, I can't see voting on it now without getting all the facts.
Well, you're running out of time, that's the problem.
that's the problem, yeah, I agree with
December
you.
5th is in a week and a half.
I remember we moved all the health insurance to Cindy. from
I guess the part I'm
Liable,
discussing
and there
is-
was no big issue, and I don't know why this Medicare never got
I
carried
mean, I
along
can't
with
believe
it.
Medicare jumped $120 a month, there's gotta be something. That's just
Well,
pretty far fetched.
I mean,
I know mine jumped, but it didn't jump no $100 a month.
Somebody's gonna check it.
there's like 4 contracts, right, so it's not a huge deal, but
$600 a month.
Well, let's call for a vote, which you wanna do that.
No.
Yes,
yes.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
Yes,
I vote no. The resolution for the bonding of, resolution for East Cooch bonding, Island bonding, I'm sorry. Why would we have anything to do with that?
This is part of the bonding bill, or the application, I guess, for the bond. The county had to sign one, East Cooch had to sign one, and we have to sign one.
Who drafted this?
The county's lawyer for their bonding.
This is unacceptable. This has so many typos in it, and it's unclear who the board is, or there's no such thing as the North Koochiching County wastewater treatment.
So when they went through this, they said that they went back to some of the original documentation, because I had those questions as well.
I don't agree with that at all. I don't care what they were called in the past. I mean, this is the current contract yet. It's North Koochiching Area Sanitary District. I don't know, maybe somebody has a different.
We have to have a motion on this.
The intent of the resolution is just for North Cooch to recognize that this expansion is going in and that it's owned by East Cooch until the bonds are paid off. East Cooch and the county.
Well,
Well, they gotta fix this before we vote on it, I would think. They gotta fix it.
Okay,
Well, let's just put it there, we'll move on to, let's move on to the audit agreement and leave this one here until
well,
next meeting.
wait. I need people to tell me what they take exception to in this so I can get it fixed, so that I can make one stab at it and be done. So we don't.
Well, I think we're, you know, there's first of all, the whereas part of it. The North Koochiching Area Sanitary District.
Okay,
And delete the County Wastewater Treatment Board.
which one where are you now, John?
Huh?
First one.
We'll just make it what our legal,
Okay.
yeah, we
yeah,
don't
just
need
make
the,
it what our legal title is.
Yep,
need the board singled out.
okay, what else?
East Koochiching County Sewer District. Is that their logo? I mean,
Well,
when you have a acronym, it should reflect what it's
and this is an
abbreviated to be. And even in the heading, we have NKASD, and they have North Cooch County Wastewater Treatment Board. Now, come on.
And this was an argument that I had with them as
Now,
well.
get it,
And they came back, for the East Cooch one, for example, they said that when East Cooch was formed, that it was called the East Koochiching County Sewer District, and I think that's why in parentheses, in quotation marks, they put EKSSD, because that's what it's currently called.
well, I'm not
But
aware
I
of
can
it.
review that.
I'm not aware of it. That's-
Well, whatever our
it's
legal,
odd.
whatever the correct legal terminology is.
But then to your point, Steve, if you look at the third portion, they talk about EKCSD rather than EKSSD. And then
Go
they
ahead,
go back
Don.
to EKSSD.
I would so move to approve the resolution with the change in the first sentence of the resolution for North Koochiching Area Sanitary District instead of County Wastewater Treatment.
And then I think we should also include on that one for the third whereas, that EKCSD needs to be changed to EKSSD.
Or EKA.
I would, yes, I would
Is that
include
SSD?
that.
No, is it EKA?
They're EKSSD.
Yeah, they're right on the first, they're good on the first paragraph, but then on the second paragraph, whereas the district, I mean, whereas the board's NKASD's enabling legislation.
We
I
better
don't
go-
take the board out of it, I don't understand why they.
The heading of the resolution takes care of that.
Well, whatever it says in enabling legislation, I guess, would be what it is still. I thought at one point in time we changed it from NKSSD to NKASD. But I don't know if that was legally done.
Without a second, it can't be discussed, or a motion can't be discussed.
I'll second it then.
Let's,
No, it can't
Okay,
be.
so third paragraph, it can't be EKCSD, it's gotta be EKSSD.
Sure, I would question whether the member from East Koochiching can make the motion. I think that it's a conflict of interest.
don't know why that would be a conflict of interest.
What's on the bonding for the East Cooch
Because-
sewer project?
Yeah, but I mean, the member doesn't have any financial stake in it whatsoever.
And technically, it's the county sewer program, or expansion right now until it's handed over to East Cooch.
Well, is there any liability that the city of International Falls is by,
This doesn't even mention the
This
city of
resolution
International
is
Falls.
between the North Cooch and the county.
So is that
Where does-
modified motion? or-
Well,
Where does it say that?
it needs to get cleaned up.
Doesn't show any place for the North Cooch to sign with the county.
I mean, even in the exhibit, it says attached in the fourth paragraph down, it says, a new area described on the attached exhibit A, which project is commonly referred to as the 2017 Island View Project. It's a project. Well, if you go to exhibit A, it is not called 2017 Island View Project. It's called the Island View Expansion of the East Cooch Sewer District, Island View Sanitary Sewer Extension Area. I don't understand why this was drafted in such a haste. I'm not
Who
buying it.
drafted this?
The attorney for the county,
The
for
attorney
their
for
bonding
this-
attorney.
The bonding attorney? Who is that? Why, locally?
No,
Oh. Oh.
okay, so this is dead until I can get it fixed? Is that what I'm assuming here?
I think so.
Is it gonna
Yeah,
cost-
we gotta check with
No,
the,
there's a motion on the table, and no one seconded it.
Murray seconded.
yeah, we gotta check, oh man.
Well, you
And
can't-
see what our legal, I think our legal name is still,
Our lawyer did, I had Overstar take a quick peruse over this, and he said, from a legal perspective, it's correct, but I agree with Steve that there are a number of issues in this in terms of proper terminology and such.
yeah, well,
I mean, if it's just for the bonding, financial end of it, maybe it doesn't matter, but if this is our attesting to accepting all the effluent for the whole project and all one big motion, then I think it's gotta get reworked.
but our attorney said this was okay, I mean, it was legal, even if there's some mistakes.
The concept of it is appropriate, yes, but I'm kind of a stickler for details, and like I said, I kind of agree with Steve on this.
I mean, it is kind of a big thing though.
I'll get it fixed and bring it next month.
What it is it's just one of these legal things that, in order for the county to get the bonding money, because of the,
It's a requirement of the bond.
yeah,
If I get it fixed, does the board agree to the concept of what the wording is, if we get everything correct?
Yeah,
Because then maybe we can vote on that, and then I can just have, it requires the secretary and the chair to come in and sign it. Would that be amenable to the board?
What was the original motion?
Motion by Billy, second by Murray to accept resolution with changes.
Mr. Chair, in the title of the resolution, the word construction, is that to mean the verb of constructing, or does that mean we're approving what's been constructed there?
No, I think it's the approving the expansion. Because if you look at the second paragraph, it says that North Cooch needs to, enabling legislation says that no interceptor shall be constructed or designed without approval. So it's that we're okay with this being done and that we'll accept the flow, basically. That's the intent of the resolution from that perspective.
our chair is signing it and our secretary is signing it, so is there supposed to be a space for a county signature, or?
No, this is our resolution that says that we're okay with what's going on with Island View.
We've already approved accepting the wastewater from Island View. We've already done that.
That's my understanding, yes.
The second, under the therefore be it resolved, the board agrees so long as any bonds issued to finance or refinance the project are outstanding. The county or the East Cooch shall retain. Is East Cooch able to retain? Because East Cooch is not
They're an
illegal.
advisory board. It's an interesting perspective.
Well, I think it could be county and just take out East Cooch.
Take out
but,
East Cooch.
I mean, I guess I'm not sure.
I think they're one and the same, aren't they? East Cooch is appointed by the county, or,
And the East
Somehow.
Cooch acts on behalf of the county, basically,
Yeah,
right, Don?
yeah, it's still county,
It's an advisory board.
We're an advisory board.
there.
So to Bob's point, East Cooch can't really own anything, is that correct? The county would have to own it. So do we want East Cooch stricken from that paragraph?
It's a resolution.
I think I'd raise those with Mr. Oberstar.
You said Mr. Oberstar read this whole thing? And he thought it was fine?
Legally, yes.
Did you ask him any questions?
Like what?
Just what these guys have been talking about. I don't understand the legal part. Should it be county or should it be East Cooch or?
I didn't ask those questions, no, I didn't come up with them.
Okay,
Okay, so I'll work on this one. So we still have a motion on the table.
Right.
So are we voting on this motion or is it being withdrawn? Where are we at?
What do you guys wanna do?
Move to table.
I'll second.
Motion by Bob to
Table the
table it,
resolution.
second by Robert. Table it, call for a vote.
Yes.
No.
yes,
Yes.
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 I vote yes. Anything else from the director's report?
Well, we're long past that.
we gotta vote on Bob's original motion?
No,
Motion to
I don't
table.
think
takes
so.
precedent.
Table, okay.
Takes precedent.
We're looking at the audit. Do we want Walker's or
Or is
what?
that where we are?
We want them to do the audit again.
Move we accept the audit agreement with Walker, Gerard, and Tani.
Is there a cost estimate? Can't remember if I saw that.
I believe there is, and if I recall, it's less than last year.
I think you're right.
$6,800 is the cost. And I can't remember, I think that's either the same or a little bit less than last year.
I think I've read that somewhere too. I saw it.
Will not exceed $6,800.
Final page?
Hmm?
Final page?
No.
Page 5.
No, page 5. Oh, yeah. Mhm. That's for last year.
No, that's for this, that's the cost to do this year's.
Oh, so they're actually auditing 2017
Correct.
books.
So they
Okay.
come in like
All right.
June-ish or so.
Yeah.
Pardon me?
Do we wanna wait for him to come back from his phone call, or?
He's done.
No, I don't know, I saw it,
We have a motion and a second, right?
second, so any more discussion, if not, call for a vote.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes? On Walker. The vote is on the audit.
Who made the motion and
Approving.
second, is it
Oh,
Bob
yes.
and Keisha?
No, Robert.
Yes.
Oh, Bob and Robert,
Yes.
No, Bob and Keisha.
Bob and Keisha.
I vote yes, I don't know what we're doing.
So we got unanimous?
Hiring Walker
Was
Gerber.
everybody? Everybody was a yes?
Yes.
So the next thing is in your packet is just your WIP, how much we transferred this month. And then the last one is a letter that Cindy Uso asked that I share with the board. This is her response to us removing money from border state.
And it's actually too late to redo, make any, I mean, I saw that letter and I, you know, lights went on in my head. I thought, she makes a good point. We have to be good neighbors, and especially with them because they're right next door to us. They were very helpful when we went through the plant renovation. They allowed us to go through there on many occasions, and I think what we did was wrong, and I don't know, there's no way to redo it now, but.
Well, I think you were one of the, on the prevailing side of the motion, you could move to reconsider.
Yeah, the money's been invested in a CD, so what we could do is if we decided that we wanted to do something like that, we could, on the next time that we have available funds, is put something in there.
I kinda didn't get it. Now, she's making the distinction between her institution and
Trevor?
Bremer. But they're both not locally owned banks, neither one of them is locally owned, right?
But they employ locals. They
Well,
both
Bremer
employ
does as well.
Yeah, they both employ locals. You wanna keep those businesses going.
Yeah, but Bremer, they employ local people as well, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think,
But on the big picture, you take all the money, they're paying you 30% more.
Yeah,
Not-
1/4%.
But you're looking at, she's looking at 200,000. If you're looking at the big picture, it's a heck of a lot more than 658,000. Right?
And
Yeah.
border could only handle up to.
I was really, frankly, I was a little bit
Yeah. Well,
surprised at the letter, to tell you the truth, but.
I think we discussed those issues when we made that decision.
yeah, we know we did.
Yeah, I mean, they're both local banks.
Yeah.
well, I mean, we took away from True Star too, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't agree with, and nothing against the way you guys, the way Cindy did it, but I don't think you should put all your eggs in one basket. I mean, I think you should give a little, and we wouldn't have had to give True Star or Border State a big hunk, but we could have kept them enough to keep them happy.
Okay, we need to back up a little
Instead,
bit,
all we looked at is how much interest we're gonna make. We didn't think about anything else, but
because it wasn't what Cindy decided she wanted to do, it was brought to the
we
board
left
as
it
an
up to you, and I did not knock you. I said, we said, do it.
There
What you
is
think is
no
right.
decision that comes in front of this board that is left up to me.
Didn't we say that we were fine with what you decided to do with the investing?
No, I was given direction.
She decided.
Yeah,
I
yeah, we
thought we
had a,
kinda left it, I mean, but I mean,
well,
I thought we kinda left it, you know.
no, I have no problems with what we did, to tell you the truth, I mean,
I mean, we just didn't want it so complicated. Putting them all eggs in one basket is a little easier to manage.
we wanted to use a local bank, we could've got a heck of a lot more money online, if you know, but we took the best of the local banks, took the best interest rate we could find of the local banks, that's just the way it goes.
I think Bremer would come here and give off a good sale as far as what they do for the community also.
Yeah,
true. We're not in the business to finance banks.
think, you know, if we're locked into this for at least 1 year, right?
That's correct.
So after a year, we can revisit it. How we wanna do it.
Well, we could take the money out of the CD, that, no problem in doing that.
So, that's the problem, we already took it out of
No,
their CD, right?
It's just in the money market account.
Oh, money market.
It had been in the CD, we moved it when the CD came due.
So we have no business with them at all right now.
That's correct, and same with True Store.
Okay, alright.
The only bank we have anything to do with
I don't
right
see
now
an
is
easy
with
fix
East
right
Farm.
now.
How much are we carrying in the checkbook? How much are we carrying in the checkbook?
It bounces back and forth, but in the neighborhood of 2,000 currently, or 200,000.
Would it have to be in the checkbook? Would it hurt if you remember the checkbook, that's, that's $200,000.
It just becomes a hassle when you start transferring money because we don't want to keep an excess in the checking account. So when we are going, at some point, we're going to hit another threshold that we will be transferring money out of the checking account into a money market to reduce our liability there.
Okay,
Steve, if you want to reconsider this, you can make a motion.
I'd just like to make a motion that the director draft a letter to the president over there and tell her that she respected her letter and that we will do everything possible in the future to spread our eggs or whatever we do.
We want to send the same letter to True Store.
Yeah. Although, you know, they didn't complain.
We haven't
So I
heard
don't-
from them, that's correct.
I would send them a letter that we regret the move we made and we're gonna rethink it in the future.
No, I don't regret it. No, we have
Okay.
a fiduciary responsibility to our customers as well,
Yeah,
you know?
I don't know. Well, reword it.
You can acknowledge the letter,
Right.
that's about it.
We need a second.
To write the letter.
Mr. Chair, is there an audience section? I just have one thing I noticed.
You can say anything you want,
Well, won't do that.
why not?
I have a couple questions on the expansion. What does that mean to the East Cooch Sewer District as far as expanding? It used to be how many customers, how many will it be now within East Cooch?
We're going from approximately 800 customers up to 1,000.
1,000, okay. And the area though has greatly expanded, correct?
The physical area, yes, that's correct.
Okay. I'm gonna try this. You know, we have a legacy of costs here that the current ratepayers have all paid and built. And it is inequitable, in my view, that you take in new people without having any recognition that they are getting a free ride onto the structure that's already been built. Other utilities don't do that, so what I am essentially proposing, and I know it's a little late, but, that there be a North Cooch charge to bring on a significant expansion to recognize and reimburse the legacy builders of North Cooch Sanitary Sewer District. And that benefit would flow to East Cooch as well, because it would alleviate, it would share the costs in the past.
How would you come up with that?
Well, you have an auditing firm, and we could do the research, but common practice is to charge a connection fee. And so that, I just wanted to come here and say that, but it's a piece of revenue.
I don't get what you're saying, because everybody pays the debt service now, they'll be paying the debt service, new people that come on for the
The
plan.
debt
And so-
service has nothing, yeah, but not.
With a legacy charge, you'd say the same thing. A legacy charge is their debt service. Okay? They didn't pay the debt service in the past, they're previous to, and when you paid up that one bond, when that bond expired. And now they will be paying for the money that we got from the state and the feds, they will be paying, helping to pay off that.
From the day they come in. But there are costs beyond the debt service and other, you know, I mean, there's a whole structure here that we built over many years. And I
Well,
agree with you,
right.
they'll be paying the part going forward.
Yeah,
But-
you know,
But
No, I-
North Cooch doesn't bill any customers, they'll have 3 customers only.
Correct. But the East Cooch Sanitary Sewer District has changed in complexion. It's almost a different entity now that is a partner of the cities within the North Cooch Sanitary Sewer District. They are, 25% more customers in a much larger geographical area.
And
I
North
guess when
Cooch and North Cooch is gonna benefit by charging those customers that are coming on. They're increasing, North Cooch is increasing their intake.
Absolutely, although there are costs to increasing intake as,
And that
Right.
should be figured in on what North Cooch charges
but
per thousand.
what I'm saying is, that I don't disagree with you there at all, Don, that we will benefit. But I am saying that there is a source of revenue there, a connection charge that other entities always charge, and we're overlooking it. But anyway, that's my view.
their assessment, you mean, you're talking about assessment?
Yeah, an assessment to come online. East
It's assessed to each individual homeowner.
Okay, that's enough.
Well,
Any-
Yeah, that's.
okay, I knew that would be received about that.
Yeah,
It's based on flows, basically.
Yeah. Food for thought.
Okay.
I would like to see the billing mechanisms equal for all entities though, because right now they're all different.
But that's up to each entity.
Yeah.
Well, and that's
We bill everybody
unfortunate.
the same.
I know, that's unfortunate.
Oh, well. Thank you for indulging.
Is there anything else? Oh, you said you talked to other towns that had, plants and said we're running shorthanded. What are the names of the towns you talked to?
I didn't say shorthanded, I said lean.
We should have more employees for the size of our plant. What towns are the
Virginia.
same?
Virginia, Grand Rapids, Hibbing.
Virginia.
You talked to Virginia, Grand Rapids, and Hibbing, and that's what they said?
Did you talk to the 2 helpers?
No.
Those were the 3 entities we spoke with.
And then I wonder if all those have labs that are established like ours. I mean, we went over this last month.
I think so.
The
Yeah.
lab takes a lot of time for one employee.
Everybody's unique, each
Yeah.
plant is unique, and we are suffering because we were declared a Class A, a major discharger, a Class A plant with extra forms of treatment and stuff now. So that requires more manpower.
Is our permit over $1 million a day? Our plant capacity, is
Yeah.
that designed for what, 2 million a day?
3 million.
3 million gallons a day
Yes.
our plant is designed for. And that's how the MPCA rates the plants.
Anything over $1 million a day is considered Class A.
Yeah.
Major discharger, yeah.
I don't know where all that water comes from.
Anything else?
Yeah, I have a question. There was a motion by Blair that was never seconded about the letter, so is the motion stricken?
Yeah, nobody seconded it, so.
Nobody seconded,
Yeah.
so
Well,
So I just double checking that I'm just.
Yeah, we're not gonna go down that path, I guess. We regret it. Wait.
Okay, that's it, huh? Mr.
So,
Chairman?
Next.
adjournment, next meeting is December 19th.